think you are? I sent you there to solve a problem. Remember, you're a fire blanket, not a goddamn flamethrower. You don't belong there. You share nothing with those people. You're not part of something greater. You are something greater. You're one of us. So stop digging up the past and put all this to rest. Take off that stupid costume and be who you're meant to be. You don't understand the forces at play. We didn't build all this for you to piss it away. Go any deeper, and you may never see light again. And we won't be there to save you this
Message deleted.
This project is about the games that shaped us. The ones that made us think, feel, and see the world differently. The ones that changed everything. And how, even now, there just aren't enough of them out there. It feels good to be back, to step into something new. There's nothing like giving life to a world, to give shape to a story waiting to be spoken into existence.
I've worked in games for years, and every so often one comes along that changes things. It was ambitious, messy, unpredictable. Now I am excited to take everything we learned and put it further in Hopetown.
Having written multiple characters for Disco Elysium, I know the quality that needs to be achieved for Hopetown. Right now I feel that I am a much more mature creator than I was 10 years ago, so I am rather confident that I can improve on what has been done before.
We're taking inspiration from almost 30 years of classics in the genre, creating something both new and familiar, and building a studio to continue that legacy into the future.
A lot of you spent hours hearing my voice in your head. I was there for every crisis, every revelation, and I know how much that experience meant to people. Now, I get to do it all over again. A new world to give life to. Hopetown.
Hopetown is a narrative isometric CRPG, which means that if you like story-driven, well-written psychological games, then it's a game for you. It certainly is for me. And it also makes it a dream gig for any writer.
We are big believers in not just giving people what they want, but giving them what they need. So we're not just drawing from the canon of great RPGs, but meaningfully contributing to it.
Hopetown is a narrative-first game, but it's not a novel. It's a world you get to experience and react to.
One of the brand new things we're doing is bringing the concept of psychogeography into the game. The choices you'll make won't just shape the story, but the world around you, metaphorically, emotionally, and physically. Psychogeography is also the longest name for a system that I've encountered in 25 years of game development, so we're proud of that one.
What we wanted to do is play around with the form a little bit and create a game where the boundaries between the protagonist's inner world and the outer world blur. So you play through a lens not just of someone else's eyes, but someone else's psyche, an entire mind.
In a narrative-driven RPG, progress isn't just about keys and levers. Conversations, memories, choices. They don't just open doors, they are the doors.
So we asked, what if your job wasn't just to experience the world, to be a part of the stories that unfold, but define them? In Hopetown, you're a journalist with a lot of arrows in your quiver, a lot of tools in your box. So you don't just uncover the story, you're creating the story.
Are you an investigator who lives and dies by the truth? Or are you a conspiracist, looking to incite fear through twisted and bloated narratives?
Your reporting doesn't just shift opinions, it shifts reality, and it's up to you to decide what you do with that kind of power. Dig for the truth, twist the facts, or chase the most shocking story possible. How you tell it will shape how the world responds to you and how you see it in return.
Narrative-driven games strive on world building and skill systems that are finely integrated. For Hopetown, we also hope to achieve such a synergy between those aspects of the game.
Mechanics can be surprisingly complex and iterations can take longer than anyone can imagine. As we design the underlying systems for Hopetown, we are mindful of limitations in bringing this journey to life. It is a technical challenge, but we got to cut our teeth on Disco Elysium, so we are more than ready to take it on.
Will, our talent lead, has built a team drawing from a range of experiences and professional backgrounds. We brought in fresh talent from games, film, and theater, as well as veteran RPG developers. We are privileged to have Linville Brown on the team. It's not an understatement to say that he's got one of the most iconic voices in the history of games. Now he and his unmistakable voice lend their weight to the world of Hopetown in ways that we're really excited to not spoil right now. Skills are one of the most important components of CRPGs. You can look all the way back to the special system from Fallout or the iconic attributes from 35 years of D&D games, or the esoteric and abstract character skills from Disco Elysium.
Skills are at the heart of Hopetown. They don't just affect what you can do, they shape how you see the world. Each skill is its own paradigm, its own voice, pulling you in different directions.
Level them up and they'll push their perspective harder. Ignore them and they might grow quiet or desperate to be heard.
These skills will be some of your closest allies or worst enemies, and we're not going to tell you which is which, mostly because we don't know ourselves yet, but even if we did, we still probably wouldn't tell you.
So the story is one thing, but for a world like ours to truly take flight, the art has to carry its weight. That's where Astri, our art director, and Marcus, our concept artist, come in.
Astri is a ridiculously talented art director who's created illustrations for Blizzard and contributed concept art for a lot of indie and AAA games. Collaborating with her to bring the themes and characters and story from our brains into art has been a true joy.
We're taking an approach to the visuals on Hopetown that kind of combines the depth of 3D games with the expression and character that you tend to get in more 2D games. This is inspired not just by the fantastic 2.5D direction of games like Disco Elysium, but also by other titles such as Oxenfree, Transistor, and Hyper Light Drifter. We're developing a visual language to kind of reflect the protagonist's mind within the actual physical landscape of the game, which has been a really fun exercise in how far can we push this and how abstract can we go with it, but still have it feel like it makes sense to the player.
This is a game about duality. It's built on layers, literal and metaphorical. We've set it in an alternate reality, an English mining town that takes the country's tumultuous 80s and amplifies those clashes of class and industry into a setting that's new and familiar all at once.
This all plays into our visual language, a town that's a collision of worlds where massive modern pieces of architecture clash against the small pieces of Victorian iconography.
We already have early investment, but to take Hopetown to early access, we need to prove there's real demand for ambitious games like this. That's what this Kickstarter is for.
Some of the most critically praised and artistically amazing indie games still needed help finding their way into the world.
Backing Hopetown means backing more than just a game. It means backing a world where independent studios like ours get to make the kind of games you want. Games that take risks, games that don't just entertain, but engage. Games that stay with you.
There's this idea that depth and complexity in RPGs are niche. We don't buy that. We believe the more a game challenges you, psychologically, emotionally, intellectually, the more immersive and rewarding it becomes.
Hopetown is not Disco Elysium 2. We are here to push boundaries, not just meet expectations.
We need backing to tell the story the way it's meant to be told, in all its ambition, complexity, and difficulty. The kind of game that doesn't just ask hard questions, but gives you the freedom to answer them your way.
More backing means more depth, more ways for your choices to reshape the world, more reactivity, more ambition, more writing. Every pledge is a signal. Players want RPGs that go further. Let's prove it.
This world is waiting, but it won't exist without you. Psychogeography. Psychogeographical, in fact. Psychogeographic, psychogeologically fantastic.